Welcome back to another episode of our Senior Bowl Scouting. Today we're going to be discussing linebacker from North Carolina State, Payton Wilson, who sits around 6'3", 235 currently. And today your host is going to be Hunter, also known as Burner Bro. Payton is very good overall, as you can see in these clips that we were showing you. He has great run contain. He can push offensive linemen side to side and push them into the running backs, forcing the running backs to have no holes, pretty much just collapsing the play in general. He has a great size and frame for a linebacker. It would be nice to see him add probably around 8 to 10 more pounds to be more successful at the next level, because he is a little bit undersized for how he plays at 6'3". But as well, he also has a long injury history, which is probably a little bit due to his size. And with his size and his age, because he currently sits at 24, you don't really like to see that, just because most linebackers that come into the league old and injury prone aren't going to have a ton of success at the next level, because 1 or 2 injuries and they're almost already at 30 years old, and most teams are just not going to be in for that. But there is a lot of upside with Wilson. Like in zone coverage, he has great eye discipline to locate threats coming to his area, and he's very good at locating the ball in the air and making quarterbacks make bad decisions with the ball in zone coverage. He also has the movement skills and fluid hips to go side to side in his zone coverage, to where he can cover around 10 to 15 yards of his own spot. And he's very good at making those tight windows collapse with his long arms. And in the run, it shows a lot too, because he has impressive speed that allows him to beat offensive linemen. And because of how long his arms are, the offensive linemen pretty much get their hands chopped down immediately to the spot. And when coming downhill, he gives excellent sideline-to-sideline ranges against outside runs, where it makes it where those offensive linemen can't even get their hands on him. He also could contribute as a pass rusher, but he needs to add a few more pass rush moves to be more successful at that at the next level. Most linebackers in this class do have that problem, where they don't have a lot of pass rush sets. But in the NFL, a majority of the time, they learn all those, so it's not really that big of an issue to me. He also has good bend for an off-ball linebacker, but there are a few negatives to him. I do think he lacks some strength to hold his ground against run blocks, because if he doesn't get his hands high enough against bigger offensive linemen, they tend to just put their hands underneath his pads and kind of throw him around and out of the play. But he also needs to shed better, and because of that, he can't, just because of how strong the offensive linemen that he is going up against are. So he kind of gets stuck in that little spot there and can't really get out. So it pretty much just takes him out of the play completely. Another thing with Wilson is he does tend to react late to play action sometimes. And when it comes to man-on-man, and usually when he's just covering the running back, he sometimes is late to getting to his spot, leading to a wide open spot for the running back. But I don't think that's that big of an issue for Payton, because I think he won't really be used like that at the next level. I think he'll be used more as the zone backer, but also used as a pass rusher a little bit. He does tend to tackle a little bit high, which causes obviously people to get extra yardage by running kind of through him, but he still holds his own for the most part. But if we're going to look at through all of his injuries, we're going to go all the way back through high school, because in 2018, he missed his first season at NC State coming out of high school because he was rehabbing from surgery. Then obviously in 2021, he had a shoulder injury. Then he had the ACL injury. And then in 2022, he had an upper body injury and that shoulder injury again. Overall, Wilson's draft stock should be going up, in my opinion. I personally have him currently as a mid day 2 player, but that's going up. I did have him as a late day 2 player, but I could easily see him going around the 50-60 area, as long as his medicals, when he goes to the NFL Combine, end up being good enough. And I think overall he would be a good will linebacker, even in fronts, but the team that drafts him has to be comfortable with the fact he has a long injury history to be able to be at that position. And it may give a lot of teams pause in drafting him because of how old he is with the injury history. But besides that, there's really few reasons to worry about why he won't be good at the next level. He has all the attributes to succeed. He has the IQ to succeed. He has the fluid hips to succeed. And overall, he's just a dominant player. and he's always going to be at wherever the ball is. He's always at the point of attack. He does need to add some size, as we talked about, and he needs to fix his issue with shedding blocks. But those are both fixable to be able to be productive at the next level. He also uses his hands to help get reroutes at times. But let's just go ahead and look at the scouting report we have for Wilson. He has elite closing speed. He's elite in coverage. Just not when he's covering running backs for the most part. I'd still say he's very above average in that aspect. It's just play action is what throws him off when covering those running backs. He can take the tight ends out. He can take the smaller slot wide receivers out of plays as well, as he's very fluid with his hips to go in his zone or man-to-man to go with that wide receiver on those, whether it's an underneath route or the slant routes. He can move side to side in pursuit as well and is a very hard hitter and has very good interior pass rush moves, probably better than his outside moves, but he does have a pretty good chop move that gets to the quarterback pretty well. However, you would like to see him add more pass rush moves to be more successful at that at the next level, or teams are really going to use him more as a zone coverage backer. And with his age, that won't really last him long in the NFL. But as you can see, he did still play 47 games despite all the injury history that he did have in NC State. And he still put up pretty good numbers. I mean, 400 tackles and 47 games is way more than we've seen from any other player in this class. So it just tells you who Wilson is. He's always going to be around the ball. He's not afraid to go hit somebody. He's not afraid to make that kind of tackle and put his body on the line for his teammates. Now, the team fits I have for him, I do like him with the Vikings and Jets and the Rams. The Titans one is a little iffy. I had the Titans on there when they still had Vrabel, so I don't know if he'll still fit there for the most part. But when it comes down to the Vikings, Jets, and Rams, I love those three fits for Wilson, and I think those are all defenses he could succeed in at the next level off the rip. Like coming into the league, and he's already being talked about as a rookie of the year at the linebacker position candidate, just because he is like that kind of elite type of player. But thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one when we will be discussing the linebacker from Texas, Jalen Ford. Hook 'em, and make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.